One person I never worry about being a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber, probably because he works here. He's the director of recruiting for Dave Campbell's Texas Football, Greg Powers, and I guess...
Yeah, my subscription's comped.
Yeah. Before we do anything like that, we should probably say, I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week in Crootin. This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express. I don't mean this to be a personal question for you, but for both of you, and apologies if this is too intrusive. What's your dip situation on the
Gravy.
on the tendies? Just gravy?
I'm a gravy guy with the serendipity salt.
Yeah,
I'm telling you got to put the serendipity salt in there.
Yeah.
They also have Ken's Ranch, so hammer that.
I'm a Ken's Ranch guy, and then also they have the jalapeno ranch there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that gets rave reviews. I'm not a big ranch person. General, I know I'm going to.
Oh no!
I know I'm going to draw some hate.
Yeah, you're going to draw some hate from the control booth. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah, it's the I don't like to. Powers doesn't have any flaws except for that. That's his one flaw.
You want to know what though? This year I've made a concerted effort to give ranch another shot, and I have enjoyed it more on fried mushrooms and things that are lacking in flavor. I feel like ranch can add a decent flavor to. I just don't like stuff that's swimming in ranch. I guess I could muscle it down, but I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
Well, this is proof that nobody's perfect. You know what I mean?
I got better though.
Look,
I'm working towards it.
Self-improvement is important.
Yeah.
It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Let's dive in, Pickle and Powers, all of you people, as I find the thing that you sent me. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise, we're going to Kingwood to talk about their senior offensive lineman, Hayden Wright, 6'5", 260, the newest DCTF 3-star. He had a big week on the recruiting trail, picked up a bevy of new offers from across the state of Texas and across the nation, really. A guy that at 6'5", 260, you're eventually going to get noticed, and Kingwood has been unable to keep him under wraps. Big number 55 has been terrific for them.
Yeah, he has been. He's had a really nice week on the trail, picked up offers from Northwestern, UTEP, North Texas, and Tulsa. And they joined UTSA, Houston Christian, UIW, Army, and Lamar on his offer list. But continued work in the offseason, continued work away from the game has helped turn Hayden Wright into a bona fide, now P4 level player.
Yeah,
and
got Big Ten offer.
Got some cool notes here from our friends over at Kingwood. He's a team captain.
Mm-hmm.
He led Kingwood to the state championship in the lineman challenge over the summer.
Hell yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. He can also play center, and that's helped his recruitment as well, so he can snap. And he was playing tight end before he transitioned to offensive line, so can you imagine this big dude playing tight end?
Running a seam.
And they had a tough conversation. It was he likes getting the ball in his hands, right? Like, who doesn't? Mm-hmm. Who doesn't like to score touchdowns? They said, you want to be a D1 ball player? Let's move you to the offensive line.
Yeah.
And that's when his recruitment started to really take off, and now he's flourished, especially into his senior year. Kingwood's an interesting program on the rise, too, because they've got another offensive lineman that they introduced us to down at coaching school this year, 2027 offensive lineman Kennedy Brown, who had I want to say his wingspan was 8 foot.
My God.
So there's a pair of offensive linemen down there at Kingwood to make sure that we keep our eye on. But this week, the focus is squarely on Hayden Wright, who added 4 offers and deserves to be our prospect on the rise.
I mean, Humble ISD. Just unbelievable talent they've got there in Humble ISD just across the entire school district right now. It's crazy.
You know what? I always forget about, I guess, them being an Humble.
Yeah, I know.
Because I always think of Kingwood as its own thing, but it is an Humble ISD.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. And by the way, that thing, what resonated with me was when he said that, like, that's a guy we're watching tape of him playing left tackle, and he can also play center. For those who are like unaware, that's a rare skill set to be able to play both.
Well, it helps you in your recruitment because that can help you get more offers because it diversifies your profile. There might be an ability or a chance for you to step in at a school that's looking for a center or a tackle and provide some roster flex, which roster flex is a big word that colleges love to throw out there.
I'm gonna start using
in the scouting department right now.
I'm going to start using roster flex just in my everyday life. Let's get to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week, we're going to Frisco to talk about Frisco Wakeland linebacker Tristan Lawyer. This week, committed to Tulsa, had offers from places like Baylor, UTSA, Washington State, and Texas State. But this is a guy who I already know in watching his tape, he's going to be a guy that you and I really like because, like, sometimes you and I are just like, football's simple. If you just make a lot of tackles and you're just always around the football as a defender, you're probably pretty good. And Tristan Lawyer is always around the football.
He is a Carter Yates specialty.
Yeah.
Carter Yates find out at Frisco Wakeland. Frisco Wakeland has a couple of these dudes on their team who kind of flew underneath the radar a little bit, and Tristan Lawyer and Ryder Treadway, they're talented tight end. Lawyer had 16 tackles at the game Yates went to in week 1.
Oh, my God.
So definitely put his name on our radar really quickly because we were there in person and he balled out. 107 tackles last season. He had a bunch of nice offers before making his decision to commit to Tulsa. Baylor, UTSA, and Washington State jump out to me on that offer list. I kind of thought that he was going to end up as a member of the Baylor class. Baylor's done a pretty good job in this recruiting cycle, and Lawyer is one of those guys who was really starting to take off. Suffered a little bit of an injury that's going to make him miss a few games this season. So Tulsa was in the right place at the right time to secure this commitment and is getting a straight dog from Frisco ISD. This dude plays, like you mentioned, always around the football, hard-nosed, thumper. But to me, what makes him a bona fide D1 player, potential P4 player, is his speed to the ball.
Yeah.
Like he gets to the football really quickly, diagnoses quickly. I don't know what he runs in the 40 or anything like that, but for a big 6'4", 225-pounder, dude can move.
He's football fast. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. Like the 40 time is informative, and like I want it. But like if I can watch tape and be like, oh, you're just fast. Like that's a different thing. I bet I keep going back to this. But the Temple tackling machine, Torian York.
Yeah.
One of the players you and I really bonded over.
One of our all-time greats.
One of our all-time favorite players. That's a guy, I bet his 40 time is not as impressive as he is as a football player, right?
Right.
But that's a guy that when you watch him, like, oh, you're just flying to the football, taking great routes and getting there fast. Doesn't matter what you run in the 40, basically.
It's interesting, too, to kind of look at and diagnose some of these recruitments because where I feel like Torian York lost some schools off of his list or why some schools delayed in offering him was that they thought that he might be a little bit too small. Lawyer, on the flip side, might have had some delayed attention because he was so big.
Yeah.
6'4", 225. You got to prove that are you going to move down and play with your hand in the dirt, or can you move well enough to stick at linebacker? And I think once Lawyer kind of proved that really he could do either, but he has the speed and the pursuit ability to potentially hang in as a linebacker. That's when his recruitment started to take off in the offseason and when schools started to really extend him a lot of offers. I think that he racked up over a dozen scholarship offers throughout his recruitment journey. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy who had a lot of college attention, now heading up to play for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And Kevin Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely. Guy who knows a little something about the offense himself. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Get involved in the conversation, #TFToday.